News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Our Valley County Sheriff's Department searching for yet another missing person. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Thursday, September the 4th, 2014. A little chilly out there this morning. Right now we're registering 39 degrees in Missoula. The sky is mostly clear. Some of the cold spots around western Montana. Polebridge reports 31 degrees this morning, and over at Wisdom, it's 29. It's going to get cold again tonight into tomorrow morning as well. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by Temprite Service. Got any plumbing or heating needs? Going to need that heater here pretty quick. Call Team Blue at 728-1111. The Ravalli County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing Missoula man thought to be in the Blodgett Canyon area west of Hamilton. I spoke with Sheriff Chris Hoffman yesterday. He says the search for Ryan Boyd Silsby began earlier this week.
A family member notified us that he had received a call from Ryan on or about August 16th and told that family member that he intended to camp up Blodgett Canyon west of Hamilton and that he intended to be back to work in Missoula on August 18th.
Hoffman provides this description of the missing man.
He is described as an adult male, 6 foot 1 inch tall, 170 pounds. He has brown hair, blue eyes, and was believed to be wearing a yellow shirt and green shorts. We're told that he is an experienced outdoorsman.
Ravalli County Search and Rescue, family members, and 2 dog teams from the Kalispell area will continue the search in the Blodgett Canyon area. Anybody with information has to contact the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office at 363-3033. Now, this is the second person missing in Ravalli County. In the last week or so, 56-year-old George Bauman didn't return from a firewood cutting trip last week. The Sheriff's Department suspended that search Tuesday after combing the area around his pickup truck. A 25-year-old man charged in a triple murder on Montana's Crow Reservation has been civilly committed after he was found incompetent to stand trial because of mental illness. Public Defender Michelle Nahon Mulder said yesterday that Sheldon Chase was committed by a federal judge in Missouri on August 29. Chase has been held since January of 2013 at a Bureau of Prisons psychiatric hospital in Springfield, Missouri, to undergo treatment and evaluation. He's charged with shooting his grandmother, cousin, and cousin's boyfriend near Lodge Grass in October of 2011. Missoula County Sheriff's Office released its weekly crime report covering the Labor Day weekend. Public Information Officer Paige Pavolone says one incident involved the arrest of a Missoula man who was allegedly driving drunk with 2 small children in the car.
He observed right away that the driver appeared intoxicated, and there were 2 small children in the back, I believe to be about 5 and 7 years old or around that age. So he was arrested for DUI after the investigation, and he was also charged with felony criminal endangerment for having the 2 children in the car.
Pavolone says that there was a case of beer under one of the children's car seats. Another incident involved a mother who had left her children alone in a mobile home with no heat or electricity for days at a time. She describes what deputies found when they entered that home.
When deputies entered the residence, it was absolutely astonishing, the conditions that the kids were staying in. The house is very, very dirty, rotted food, animal feces. The children were not taken care of. There was no food in the house. There was no electricity, no heat, no way for them to prepare food or store food. So CPS was involved, and I believe that charges are pending for the mother.
The alleged drunk driver, Tyler Upham, appeared in justice court earlier this week. Police in Great Falls are asking for help in identifying possible witness to the August 14th death of Cascade County Deputy Joe Dunn. Of course, was raised in Missoula. A dash cam picked up a picture of a Toyota Tundra pickup traveling eastbound on U.S. Highway 89 east of Great Falls about the time Dunn was killed. Officer Katie Cunningham says the video wasn't clear enough to see the numbers on the license plate or identify the color. She says the pickup was a gray or brown extended cab with a grill guard. Adam Sanchez is charged with deliberate homicide in Dunn's death. Yesterday, the Law and Justice Interim Committee met and voted to recommend some major changes to Montana's parole system. Though the vote won't change Montana laws yet, it does mean the bill is more likely to make it through the next legislative session. Missoula Area Representative Ellie Hill is on the committee and explains some of the problems it found with Montana's parole system.
Sort of what we learned was the public's problem with the process was that these parole hearings are, one, not recorded at all. There was no records kept of either audio or visual of the proceedings. And two, the parole chair sets the members of the parole board that attend the hearings and then in some way sort of predetermines the outcome.
The bipartisan committee voted unanimously to record parole sessions and voted 9-3 to give the governor much more power over that process.
I think the biggest change, of course, that came out of today's proceedings was we are going to recommend that the legislature in the state of Montana allow the governor to grant clemency. About half the other states in our nation do allow for a governor to grant clemency to an inmate. And, of course, the big driver and interest is the Berry Beach case.
Hill also wrote a public letter to Governor Bullock that she believes the current parole chair, Mike McKee, should not be reappointed when his term comes to an end next month. McKee was head of the parole board when Beach's clemency was rejected earlier this year. The State Board of Chiropractors has revoked the license of Reese Riggin of Great Falls after 2 women reported he sexually assaulted them while performing chiropractic treatment that he required them to receive as part of their employment. A former employee filed a complaint against Riggin in January of 2012, alleging he inappropriately touched her during purported chiropractic treatments and made sexual comments and asked her personal questions about intimate relationships. The woman worked at Big Sky Chiropractic from March of 2009 to September of 2010. Another former employee testified that Riggin made similar advances toward her. The recent magnitude 6 earthquake in California may seem almost unimaginable here in Montana, but just 60 years ago, quakes of that scale occurred fairly regularly. Mike Stickney with the Montana Earthquake Studies Center in Butte comments.
If you look back at the earthquake history of Montana, we've had a number of earthquakes that were as big or larger than the recent California earthquake. However, in Montana's case, they were all more than 54 years ago. Between 1920 and 1960, so 40 years in Montana history, we were having a magnitude 6 or larger earthquake roughly once a decade.
Montana's earthquake zone is wide and runs through many major cities.
The earthquake belt or zone that runs through western Montana extends roughly from the Flathead Lake region, Kalispell region on the northwest. It passes southeastward to Helena and then southward down to the Yellowstone region. It's not a precisely defined zone, but it's roughly 100 miles wide.
In 1935, Helena was struck by 2 earthquakes over a magnitude 6, which killed at least 4 people and damaged 60% of that capital city's buildings. And finally, federal prosecutors have filed charges in connection with a March bank robbery in Browning. Ronald Forhorns was arraigned in U.S. District Court in Great Falls August 26th and pleaded not guilty to charges of bank robbery and theft. A public defender was appointed. His trial was set for November 3rd. Newstalk time now, 6:10.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly sunny skies in the forecast today. Temperatures will be below normal with their highs in the upper 60s to right around 70.